Welcome to Talk of the Town, where we talk about things going on with Brady King and Nick Rothschild. And look, the Nuggets season is over. The Avalanche season is over. The Rockies, which we will talk about in a minute. But let's do something positive first, shall we? The Broncos at OTAs last week. We got our first look at the team on the field in practice. Obviously, no pads, nothing like that. But the thing I saw that stuck out the most to me, guys, was Bo Nix, the comfort level, and actually telling people where to go and say, hey, you go over there. Something that was completely different, Nick, from last year at this time when he was a rookie and kind of lost.
Yeah, make no mistake, he took that job once he was named the starter, and throughout the year, he was doing some of that in practice, but certainly not in OTAs and even training camp. When he was trying to win the job, he was very much in the thick of the competition. He wasn't sort of putting himself out there the way we saw at OTAs this time around. He mentioned the comfort, Lionel, and I think part of that comes from getting to play in an offensive system for the second year in a row for the first time since high school. I don't think we can overstate how important continuity is in the NFL, and this is the first time Nix will have it since he was 17 years old.
Well, this is so encouraging. I mean, we talk about the things that are like, the second year of Sean Payton working with Bo Nix, second year of Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton, second year of Bo Nix with everybody. And that's what's so encouraging is the fact that there is no reset. There's no learning curve anymore. There's no, oh, he's a rookie. No. I'm expecting huge things out of Bo Nix in this offense this year.
Yeah, Nick mentioned Bo Nix getting involved in teaching these guys. I think it's just going to build the bond. Even with Cortland Sutton, they already had a good connection last year. But him getting to know some of the new guys like Evan Ingram, it seemed like they were already kind of bonding at OTAs. So I am so excited to see what this Broncos offense can do. But Bo Nix also said that it's been helpful to be around Vance Joseph and see the defense he has. So I think that can only help him going forward. And we all know that the defense got a lot scarier during this offseason.
You mentioned Evan Ingram, which is, I think, a good shout because Nick's talked about him after practice and said that it's not so much about getting reps in on the field, but getting to know Ingram and these new guys off the field. And I just love to hear that that's how he's building this offense, that he wants to get inside these guys' heads and become friends, for lack of a better term, with his offensive mates. And then they'll take and translate that relationship on the field. I think that's the best way to do it.
All right, OTAs continue this week out at Broncos Park. And now we have to talk about the Rockies. They're the worst team since Billy the Kid was riding a horse in the Old West. They're the worst team since Buffalo Bill Cody was riding around Denver on a horse. The worst team since the shootout at the OK Corral. But anyway, something has to break. It's not going to break this season, but next season, something has to happen. What can it be? What can happen, Nick, for this team to turn it around?
Of nothing this year. I mean, weirdly enough, they're the biggest story in baseball. They were the lead story on ESPN.com for most of Sunday because of how bad they are. We've never seen futility on this scale as it relates to a baseball team. And credit to Warren Schaefer and the guys in that clubhouse for not quitting or going insane, because I think I would have just given up at this point. But realistically, there is no coming back from this season. We just hope they get to a point where they're not a laughingstock every week. Let's get to mediocre maybe, and then we can call the dogs off.
Well, this team could go 500 the rest of the season, you guys. I read this, and they would still end up with 101 losses, which they've had back-to-back 100-loss seasons, so that would be nothing new. But let's just say, I know we all know this, but Bud Black obviously was not the problem, and they've got bigger problems than that. Warren Schaefer's gone 2-17, I believe, since he stepped in on the interim. So the Rockies have big problems that I don't think they have anyone coming up to save them anytime soon. Chase Dolander was their best prospect in the pipeline, and he's already with the team and on the IL. So that's not going to help.
I guess it could get worse. They could lose the rest of the games. But when you're rock bottom, a rebuild is easy to do. You clean house because the house is already burned down. And that's what Dick Monfort has to do. He's not selling the team. He's in charge. But as we go down the list of people in the organization, guys, Greg Fiesel, the president and chief operating officer, you got to go.
Fired.
Bill Schmidt, GM,
Oh, double fired.
Fired.
Super fired.
Orlando Fernandez, vice president of scouting.
Well, anyone
Fired.
in player development or player acquisition needs to be gone.
Cut them loose. They are not
Starting
developing anyone.
Anyone
Son.
named Monfort also needs to be gone.
Professional scouting operations gone. Chris Forbes, player development. Everybody's got to go. They really do. And I don't enjoy seeing
No.
anybody get fired, but this is the business of winning baseball games, right? Assistants to the GM: Charlie Blackmon, Vinny Castilla, Todd Helton, and Clint Hurdle is already helping coach the team. What, team president Charlie Blackmon? Is there something wrong with that? General manager Todd Helton. What? It's right there.
Look, the malpractice of this whole situation is the fact that, Brady, you kind of mentioned it. There is nothing in the pipeline that is going to help this team. They never got top-level prospects from any of the deals that they made over the last 7 years, which, by the way, 7 years ago, they were a 90-win playoff team. That is insane to me. So you've failed the team from the very top. You have not acquired talent in free agency or trades. You have not acquired talent through the draft or through the minor leagues. You have not built this program that can compete in any way. So yeah, everyone's got to go because at every level, it's been a failure.
And in baseball, you need multiple guys that are going to play at an elite level, and they just do not have that. I mean, Chris Bryant was supposed to save us at one point. He's been on the IL 9 times since 2022. But even if he was back, the problems are so much bigger than that. Pitching is 5th worst in the MLB. Our offense is the worst in the MLB. So I don't see how this team gets better, unfortunately.
Fire everybody and rebuild.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. We'll see if Dick Mumford is watching the show. All right, that's all for now. Denver 7 News will be right back after this break.